Oh, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Today are my co-hosts, JoJo and James.
I'm here.
Man, do I have a little bit of a loaded podcast. Okay, so thanks to me just being fucking completely swamped with work, I knew the State of Play came out today, and JoJo reminded me that maybe I might want to watch it. And it did.
Yeah.
So, before I jump into what is obvious why JoJo wanted me to watch it, which is that there were some Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff. We've talked about these YouTubers a couple times on here before, and I know me and Kelsey have at least, where we talked about two people in particular. I want to start out by saying I'm not throwing shade at anybody. We'll start out that way. I don't think I could ever get to a point in either YouTube or Twitch where I would I wouldn't say community, because community is not the right word for that. I would just, I guess, viewers, because if they're part of your community, they wouldn't do the stuff that they're doing. Harass me into not making content that I want to make. I don't, and both these YouTubers have done that, which sucks because I use them primarily for a lot of my Final Fantasy news, and now they don't cover it anymore because they got harassed so much by the community. Because the Final Fantasy VII fan base can be toxic, and they said things that I guess the Final Fantasy VII fan base didn't like, as far as like they didn't really care for the remake all that much. There was too much change, and it wasn't a good game and stuff like that.
What?
To the point where one of them literally dedicated their entire channel around that specific game. So, I mean, from what I heard, he's rebranding. Which, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't rebrand if you're not going to cover those topics anymore. Which, once again, like I said, I'm not throwing dirt at anybody, not throwing any shame. Do what you got to do for your own mental health. I would never be in that position, mainly because I'm just an asshole, so it takes a lot to get under my skin. I mean, you can go to Darkstar and you'll see plenty of comments of people telling me to kill myself and that they're going to kill me and that they hope I get cancer. Like, that's all over the fucking comments over there. So, and I still sleep soundly at night on my fucking Tempur-Pedic mattress. Doesn't bother me any. That being said, what are they doing to my game, dude? What are they doing to my game? Oh my god. I don't understand the direction. I don't. Like, I get doing Yuffie as a side quest just to kind of like get people introduced to her.
Yeah.
But it literally makes no sense in the story for her to be in Midgar. Like, not even close. And I don't even know who the fuck that guy is. Like, I know she ends up
That's some guy.
Huh?
They invented him. That's just some dude. They made him up.
Just out of nowhere.
I tried Googling him real hard, and there's nothing.
Well, there was one guy she ended up teaming up with, but that was like after the events of the fucking game. After she went to Wutai, after the game was over, and I mean that's not that guy. So, and he called her boss.
I mean, it looks like, yeah, I don't know. It looks like this guy has a spear. I assume he's just like a demo of Sid that they made.
I don't know if he has a spear. I don't know. That kind of looked more like a bow staff to me, but I could be wrong.
Something where maybe they can reuse the animations at least.
Maybe
to some degree.
Like, plan some stuff in future characters. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and that guy will probably, and they'll probably just kill him somehow, right? To explain why Yuffie's all alone and not hang out with him anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I will say this: I'm glad that they added the aspect for him to keep her away from Avalanche. Like, for her to just randomly join up to Avalanche probably would have pissed me off more. Her character model looks great. She looks fantastic. I'm very happy with the character model. She looks great. But I don't remember whether you said you played any of the spin-off stuff, like Dirge of Cerberus and all that.
No,
that's what all
very
that
loose understanding of any of that.
Yeah, that's what all that in shit was.
Yeah. I thought it was one of those Sephiroth spawns from the movie, but then turns out he's some guy from Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah, he's the big bad in Dirge.
Yeah.
So, and that's why it makes sense for the integrated aspect, because they did say that they were going to be incorporating the entire, completion of the Final Fantasy VII series into this game. But I think we might be rushing it a tad bit at this point. Just a little bit. I think we might be rushing it. Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of the stuff that had to deal with that guy had to deal with the fact that it was definitely because it took place, like, after Shinra was not a thing, and he was able to, like, have his own lab and stuff like that. Hojo is a fucking problem again. Like, it really doesn't make sense for this guy to be here, like, at all. Man, dude. Yeah, I don't know. And then it's like, that was, like, Vincent's battle. So it's like, I highly doubt we're getting Vincent, and if we get Vincent this early, I'm gonna be pretty fucking livid about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, they probably they can't give you Vincent then, because then he would know who this guy already is in Dirge, right? Well, I mean, whatever, the timeline is messed up in this remake anyway, I guess. But like, it has to be a thing where Yuffie never mentions ever having seen this guy, so Vincent doesn't know who he is when he encounters him in the future. I guess.
I don't know, man. I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't get excited. That was for sure. Watching that at all, at all. Like, I was excited to see Yuffie, but as soon as, like, I heard your girl finally made it to Midgar, I was like, it's gonna be Yuffie. And then they showed her in her Moogle Rab, and I was, yeah, it's definitely Yuffie. And then she fell, and then you saw her face, and I was like, yep, fucking told you it's fucking Yuffie.
Yeah.
So. Oh man. So going back to what I was just talking about before I guess I dive any deeper into this, it's really, I get it, right? Like, Final Fantasy VII means a fucking lot to me. I have spent a lot of fucking money and a lot of time on this series, on the specific part of this series. My entire Twitch channel is literally around them, everything. Like, I love this series. I get it. But people can have different opinions. So the harassment that I was talking about with the other two YouTubers, that shit's not cool, man. I mean, if anybody on our channel participates in that, that's not something that we hear like whatsoever. So if that offends you, fuck off. You can unsubscribe. I don't care, because we don't support that. We don't tolerate that. But everybody's allowed to have their opinions, and I can understand where they're frustrated with the game as well, because it does seem that it's taking a different direction. And one of the biggest things that I know a lot of people have with the game so far is that the last game was so good because the plot seemed to be surrounded by death, to where the remake's plot seems to be surrounded by not letting people die.
Yeah, maybe. It's right, like,
all the way up to this point have saved everybody who died in the original up to this point so far. Wedge is alive, Biggs is alive, we believe Jesse's alive.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
then it's a question of, like, it saved Barrett because Barrett's not supposed to die there.
Which made sense. Does
that also mean, like, will the Whispers come back in the second part and just stab Biggs because he's supposed to be dead? Like, maybe it's
that would be
a thing that
hilarious.
It doesn't pay off. It's a Final Destination situation. Like, he was supposed to die, and they'll get him.
Right.
The setup for the second part that we don't understand yet. Like, I'm reserving getting too upset about anything with that stuff until I know what it is they're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay open-minded because it is a part one, Like, there's still a lot to come. Zach being alive was definitely probably the biggest letdown for me, besides the fact that they changed Zach's voice character, and his new voice actor is fucking terrible compared to his last one. So I was not a fan of that, but that was probably the biggest letdown for me, was that Zach survived, because I'm like, that literally breaks, like, the entire fucking story. Like, from the jump, breaks the entire fucking story. Cloud would have never had the sword. He would have never made it to Midgar by himself and wound up fucking dazed, and Tifa would have found him. Like, none of that would have happened. Like, literally the entire beginning of the story is broken. It makes
even
no
that
sense.
Looked like it was like a third alternate universe or something, though, right? Like, it was happening parallel to them leaving Midgar, but, like, he was seeing not them. They,
And, like, I get that, but what are we going to do? Are we going to run, like, fucking 5 universes at the same time?
It's just an excuse to do some... It's an excuse for Nomura to throw some Zack stuff in there.
But see, like I said,
somehow,
I feel
I
like
guess.
what they could have done, and I think me and you talked about this when we did the review show for the game, and Mike and Kelsey jumped off, was I think it would have been a lot better if, and they could have done DLC if they wanted to. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. But as we move on through the game, have little DLC stories, or maybe even have moments where like Cloud thinks he sees Zack, and then we get a flashback, but it's not Cloud's flashback. It's just a flashback of what Zack was doing while he was there. And then they could tell Zack's story along the way, simultaneously with Cloud, leading up to the point of Zack dying. Like, they could have done that. It wouldn't have been something that was, like, extremely, like, long and taking, because it would take away from the story. Like, you know, like, oh, shit, is that Zack? And then, like, you know, fucking famous, Cloud headache. And then fucking, bam, we're fucking Zack for, like, 10 minutes running around Calm or some shit. It's like, what was Zack doing in Calm? Although he was never in Calm. But still, like, when we get to Gungaga and shit like that, you know? Could have been anything like that. Or just fucking make Crisis Core a fucking DLC and put it into the game. I don't fucking know. Whatever you want to do. Zack should be alive.
Maybe we'll get there, you know. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I'm still keeping my hopes up. I mean, I do feel Square Enix was trying to be sneaky with this DLC because it conveniently takes place when Cloud is with Aerith. So obviously you're not there, because it's obviously whenever they got back from blowing up the second reactor, because Tifa's like, we lost Cloud, and Biggs is like, what do you mean you lost him? So that's obviously whenever he fell after battling the Airbuster. So...
Right.
Which makes sense on why you didn't see Yuffie, because, you know, you weren't there, but I don't know. And then there was, like, they have, like, this great relationship, Yuffie and this guy, but then they get on the train, and he's like, yeah, well, you should, they're going to get what they deserve, and she's like, yeah, and I'm not your sister, and then pushes him off of her. I was like, all right, that was kind of fucking just, like, out of nowhere, so. I don't know how long this DLC chapter is going to be. We'll see.
Watching that, I didn't know what to think, because I thought, until I looked it up afterward, I was like, oh, this is probably some dude from just something, or, you know, who knows, but no.
Because I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she was like, oh, who's that? And I was like, I have no fucking clue. And I mean, I own all the books. Like, he is not in there.
No one, yeah.
Oh, man, dude, that's just, I don't know. It's going to be weird. Like, I can see it to get people hyped for Yuffie and to help people who are new to the game meet Yuffie, but I don't really think that there was a problem with how we got Yuffie in the first place.
I wonder if they're just like the way the game works, you know, their environmental art takes way longer than the other parts, so they have everyone else still working on making the rest of the world, and the guys who do battle stuff and animation are like, we got some time, let's just do something with Yuffie. As long as it's still in Midgard, because we've got that already.
Yeah.
Now, like, fair. It's like so. It was so odd to see that and think like, why is any time being spent on this instead of just making the second part of the game?
Yeah, exactly. That was my biggest thought too. Was like, wow, this is a lot of time going into this fucking thing right here. I mean, because apparently there's even a boss that you fight too. So it's like there's a lot of time going into this, but yet you motherfuckers want to be like, oh, well, because of because of deadlines, we fucking couldn't fucking make Red 13 a playable character. Like, what kind of bullshit is this? How long you been working on this fucking DLC chapter? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And so there's another weird wrinkle. I don't know if this wasn't part of the PlayStation thing. There's separately, they announced 2 mobile games.
Really?
And one of them is called Ever Crisis. And it is also a remake of Final Fantasy VII. It's just for phones. It looks kind of like that Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition thing they did, and it's supposed to it's an episodic thing that encompasses the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII. So like, this core and all that shit. Like in battle, it uses the same character models basically that the remake does. But everything else looks like weirdly chibi, or you know,
chibi, yeah,
small and cute. Yeah. So I wonder, like, they need to make those models for that game too. So like, just also that they're remaking Final Fantasy VII again at the same time.
Can we focus on one remake and just fucking finish it?
Yeah, it's just such a why? What?
Watch! Oh my god! Watch this be the way where we get the remake that a lot of people actually want, is through this fucking mobile game where it's like they don't fuck with stuff and the story stays the same, and then that gives them free reign to do whatever the fuck they want with this.
It's going to be like the most straightforward adaptation of the material. It's like the same dialogue and stuff, basically, but with a different battle system, sort of. And also, they'll translate like Dirge of Cerberus into this mobile game.
I wonder if that means they're going to do anything as far as the. Oh wow, yeah, they're fucking going all the way back to fucking before Crisis as well.
Yeah, right. They said it was just like the entire, but they also said it was episodic, and so who knows how long that'll take to actually get to the point where they're doing that stuff.
Bro, is this what you were talking about when I came back about the fucking battle royale?
Oh no, there's also separately a battle royale. They're making 2 mobile games. One of them is you play as soldiers 30 years before Final Fantasy VII or something, and it's a. It's a battle royale. It's a Final Fantasy VII battle royale. Hey,
Square Enix,
just in time,
man.
The height of the battle royale craze. I mean, like
the height.
2 or 3 years late on that, but
Fuck, and you know what the worst part about this is I made a joke about this, and I'm pretty sure it's online about whenever they were first talking about the remake, and I literally said, watch us have like a multiplayer battle royale version of fucking Final Fantasy. That would be insane. And now here it fucking is.
Yeah, I mean,
on the
15
phone.
had that multiplayer mode that I never checked out. So like maybe they based it on that. I don't know. It looks kind of cool, but also it's a phone game. Like that's not how I want to play like an action shooter thing. Yeah. But like, what? What are they doing?
They seem all over the place right now. What is happening at Square Enix? What the fuck? Did the CEO die and they got like a new CEO or something? Like, what is all this nonsense that's going on right now?
I just realized, like, people like Final Fantasy VII a lot, so we can, like, let's stop doing all this shit where we put other, Final Fantasy opera something or other where we put every Final Fantasy character in it. What if we just keep doing 7?
Yeah.
We made all these models. What if we keep using them over and over?
Jesus, dude. That's
because it took a lot of money. That's also maybe part of it. It's why we had like 3 Final Fantasy 13 games, is because they spent too much money making Final Fantasy 13 and had to keep reusing stuff.
It's true. They did try to
just
beat that fucking horse dead, and that thing was dead on arrival to a lot of fans. A lot of people did not like it.
And I mean, 7 Remake was announced like a million years ago. They were developing that for a long time. They sunk a lot of money into it.
Basically, since fucking Crisis Core, because the end of Crisis Core, you see the first opening CGI scene of Cloud on the train.
So man, I don't know. It's real wild.
I don't know, man. Like I said, it just sucks because, like, I'll put it this way: I'm upset that I'm in a state to where, like, I'm being able to see my favorite game of all time in the most amazing way it could be seen at the time, and I'm not happy. Like, I walked away from that a little more upset than anything else right now. So,
man, they remade my favorite game, Secret of Mana, a few years ago, and did a bad job of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least 7 Remake, is the thing it is good. Whether or not it ends up being a good adaptation of the original, like the game I played was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the game. It's just, like I said, there's a lot of, I don't know. Like I said, I love Tetsuya Nomura, but like, just I'm questioning the vision. After seeing this, I'm definitely starting to question the vision at this point.
And also, I think it's not all his fault or whatever. Like, I remember there's like 3 producers or something, and
there's 3,
we just
none of them apparently
we blame him because he's the guy we know the name of, and he puts too many belts on characters. Yeah. So it's like fun, but
I noticed that the other day whenever I was moving my statues around because my Tifa statue showed up, and I was moving my statues around. I was looking at Barrett, and like literally from his fucking chest down is just nothing but belts, and I'm like, bro, why? Why is this a fucking thing? Why is this a craze with you, fucking Nomura? Like, I don't get it. Like,
I don't know.
I remember fucking, what was her name? Pain? Or was it Lulu from 10?
Lulu and Pen had a dress that was
made of belts. Yeah, fucking get out of here, dude. Oh my god.
The apex of his character design.
Apparently.
So good.
Oh my god, dude. I don't know. Like I said, it's unfortunate, but because of how everything has like kind of broken down, and it hurts me to say this, but it's true. I'm more excited for 16 than I am Part 2 right now. Like, way more excited for 16 than I am Part 2 right now.
16 has less potential to totally bum you out.
That's true.
7 remake could go either way, but 16, even if it's not great, you get less invested in it, I guess.
That's fair.
That's fair. That makes sense, right? Yeah.
Right. And with what they said with 16 so far, because they just came out and was talking about it a little bit more, they didn't give us too much information. And I'm glad Yoshi's working on it, because honestly, I mean, and you fucking know this as well, James would disagree, but that's because he doesn't fucking play the game anymore. But Final Fantasy XIV's fucking story has been absolutely amazing since he's fucking taken over. I've heard nothing but amazing things about fucking Shadowbringers, because I haven't gotten there yet. And fucking apparently this new Endwalker is going to be fucking phenomenal. So knowing that he's also doing 16 as well, I'm pretty fucking happy about that. So, but he came out and talked about the fact that it is going to actually be a very dark Final Fantasy story. So it's definitely going to hold that M rating hardcore, which I'm super fucking pumped about. And that, like I said, that whole cross between basically at this point, the way they look at it is like fucking Game of Thrones and Dark Souls had a baby. And it was Final Fantasy. So there's going to be a lot of this like karma-based system. He didn't say this, but this is just a lot of rumors that are based around the karma-based system that you can actually gain up with houses and shit like that too, which would be pretty fucking cool. And that just the combat itself is going to have a very Dark Souls-ish feel with just how hard it's going to fucking be and make you actually be like strategize. Because I mean, to be fair, Final Fantasy 7, like once you get to a certain point with materia and shit, I mean, I literally don't give a fuck about anything I walk into anymore. If I ever block anymore, I'd be fucking surprised. Like, at this point, Cloud is a goddamn fucking energy vampire. I can literally block, I can fucking counterattack, or I can attack. And no matter what I do, I'm stealing the life force or whatever I'm beating the fuck out of. Like, it's fucking stupid, dude. It's so dumb. Only person I still haven't beat yet in that game is fucking Bahamut. Because he's a fucking asshat. But I've only tried him twice, and he fucking shit on me, so... Dude's fucking rough. Last Aeon I need, dude. Last Aeon I need. And he's fucking rough, dude. He doesn't play around. And every one of his moves is like a countdown to him doing fucking Mega Flare or whatever. And when he does Mega Flare, it's automatically a team killer. And if you're all grouped together, then he'll stop and then he'll like just fly up in the air. And then he'll just do like a dive bomb. And if like your fucking computers are like right up your fucking ass, he'll hit all three of you and then all three of you down that too. He's got like 2 or 3 moves that just wipes the entire team. I'm like, fuck.
It's weird. Also, they blew Bahamut like on part 1 already. Yeah. I guess they can do Neo Bahamut or whatever, and
Neo and Zero.
They went for it. I don't know. Yeah,
it was like what 4 of them in fucking
3 or 4. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
they can make a new one. I guess.
Well, that's what I liked about the fucking the Machina series that Team 4-Star made about Final Fantasy 7. Because they get to the whole part where like Cloud is telling a story about like how him and Sephiroth met in Nibelheim, and obviously it's all comedy and shit like that. Because that's what Team 4-Star does, is a whole bunch of a bridge series and shit like that. And they were doing a Machina bridge about 7, and they get to that part and Barrett's talking, and he's talking about because Cloud's like, yeah, and then this thing hit the truck. Turns out it was a dragon, and then Barrett like jumps out of the store and he's like, was it Bahamut? And he's like, no, it's not Bahamut. He's like, are you sure it wasn't Bahamut? It wasn't a spinoff of Bahamut? Because there's Bahamut, there's Zero Bahamut, Neo Bahamut, Mega Bahamut. And he's like going, and then Cloud jumps back in and he continues to tell the story. But you can hear Barrett faintly in the background still naming off Bahamuts. And then you hear him be like, there's also Bahamut with cheese and shit like that. I was like, oh my God, dude. Fucking shit cracks me up, dude. One of my favorite parts of that fucking Machina bridge is like they bring on Red 13 and he doesn't talk much. And then they get to the scene where everybody's leaving Midgar and everybody votes, who's going to be the fucking leader. And obviously everybody votes Cloud because he's the main character. So in the Machina bridge, like they go to do it and like Tifa is just a fucking dick to Cloud. Like the entire fucking Machina bridge. She is just an asshat. And so like she says something about, oh yeah, I'll go with him because he's obviously going to need me to hold his hand. And so like fucking Cloud's like, what did you say? And she's like, oh, well, obviously you want me to hug your hand. He seems like Cloud definitely seems like into himself in the Machina Bridge, but he's kind of nice and stuff. And he's like, you've been nothing but a fucking bitch to me since I got here. And like they start arguing and stuff. And she's like, oh, well, I mean, I was just joking around. I was just doing this. I was just joking around. And he's like, you've been this way ever since your dad died. And then it just gets real quiet. And then Red 13's like, oh, shit. And then the episode ends. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. He's been quiet this whole time. Just like, oh, shit. And I was like, that's so good, dude. Oh, my God. Shit cracked me up. Oh. And then him and Barrett, they kept the bromance between Red 13 and Barrett in the Machina Bridge, too, which I thought was good. So they have their own thing whenever they get in fights and one of them goes to use their limit breaker or something in the show. They're like, what time is it? It's avalanche time. And they pop off their limit breakers. I'm like, oh my God. It's pretty good, dude. You should check it out. I think they've made up to the point where Aerith died so far. And I don't think they've made any other episodes. I know they plan on finishing off the game, but it's so fucking funny, dude. It's so good. They have so many good fucking characters. Like, they did really, really well. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, 16 I'm super fucking pumped for. I can't wait till we get more information about that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it can't be bad, right? Like
right.
It's they're too competent. Like they won't fuck it up.
Right. And for all the people who are fans of 7, I'm not saying 7's terrible, and I'm not saying that like I'm not gonna play the fucking DLC or I'm not gonna play part 2 because it's obviously gonna happen. Just remake is a very one-way word, I feel, and I feel like remake has not been anywhere near true to anything. I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. In my opinion, remake is like, here's the story. We'll expand on certain things, but we're going to keep the story the same. And I definitely have to agree with a lot of other people where, like I said, the tone of the story was always death. That was the tone of the story. It's like even in the Sector 7 Fallout, like obviously a lot of people died, but I mean, whenever you're down there with, not Aerith, but whenever you're down there as Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa, you're rescuing a lot of people out of Sector 7. And it's just like, did anybody die? Like, did anybody die? I'm wondering, did anybody die? Now I'm just waiting for them to show us fucking Denzel from the fucking movie and his parents still be alive too. It's like, oh, look, fucking Denzel and his parents. Fucking, I don't know. I'm upset.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
we'll see.
Yeah. The thing I gotta hope is that they are trying to surprise you somehow. Like, they will come up with something that justifies it because, like,
for sure, hopefully.
They can't just remake it and have the same experience because, like, you can't be surprised that Aerith got stabbed again.
Right.
So they have to come up with some other way, you know, to do something. So, like, to get that feeling again for people.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, it's like with the nostalgia of being able to have that tried true game expanded on, like, because like it's like I've said multiple times, the stuff they did in the original or in the remake with like Jessie and expanding into her story and you finding out about her being like an actress, like that was all great. That was fantastic. The whole like doing the job on the Shinra fucking warehouse to get the explosives and shit. That was awesome. That was great. I had zero issues with that. That's perfect example of expanding into characters that in the original you walked in, you met Biggs, Wedge, and Jessie, and then 2 hours later they were all three dead. You had no idea who they were besides that. Their names and that they were part of Avalanche. That's all you fucking knew. That was it. So, like, they really made you, like, fall in love with the characters, which was great. They did a real good job of telling their story and making Wedge, like, kind of how we all pictured him. That guy that was, like, really sucked up to Cloud because he thought he was really cool. And then Jessie hitting on Cloud, which we all felt like. And Biggs being I'm the cocky asshole of the team. Like, we all felt that from the small interaction we got. And they brought that to life and then started diving deeper with Jessie's parents and shit like that. I would have been okay if they would have done that with Wedge and Biggs, but they kind of already talked about the fact that both their parents are dead. So
right, they didn't have anything going on.
Yeah. Except for Biggs and his fucking 20 cats. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We got the crazy cat guy in the fucking village over here. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm holding my judgment, obviously, like my ultimate judgment, I should say. I'm holding my ultimate judgment until I play the entire series. Because even if part 2 comes out and I'm still let down by things, like until I finish the remake entirely, I don't feel it's fair for me to give a judgment of like, the game sucked. Or, the game was amazing, you know? Like, I just don't think that's fair because it's like you said, we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. I mean, we could start part 2 and then see like Zack succumb to his wounds. We literally have no idea what's gonna happen. Like that literally could be the opening scene to part 2. It's like, we fucking got you guys. You thought Zack was gonna be alive, but guess what? He's actually fucking dead. Haha. Joke's on you, Square Enix.
Like, yeah, I have to have some faith that like they're not dumb. Like they know what matters to like that like just having Zack be an alive dude hanging out with you would be a huge mistake. Like they know that. I think like I have to believe they understand what they're doing, at least to some like. I mean, on some level, maybe they'll get up their own ass with the time travel shit they're doing, and who knows? But like,
I don't know, man.
They made it the first time, more or less.
They did.
Not all the same people, but so like, yeah, give them a little faith, I guess.
At this point, I'm just wishing that Yoshi P was kind of on the board of directors for the remake at this point, dude. Because 14's fucking content is so good. Oh my gosh, that dude's got way too much on his plate. But
right, yeah, he shouldn't be involved in that because he's busy.
That dude is being worked like a fucking horse right now. It's ridiculous. I love how like people are all like, "Oh, are you gonna leave 14?" It's like, nope. Still gonna be here, still overseeing all the 14 content, and you're doing 16? Yep. Wow. That's holy shit, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do not envy that guy right now. But I don't know, man. Like there's one part in the game, which is obviously the death of Aerith, where if like that doesn't go off the same way it did, it's gonna be very hard for me to get upset at the game. I'll still finish it, but I know a lot of people at that point who will literally just put the controller down and walk away. I might do that too. That would be to take a break and then come back. Like,
and I am almost certain it will not go off exactly the way you think.
Imagine like Sephiroth come down and he like misses or something.
It'll be it'll be a fake out, or it'll be he gets someone else or something. But also, it could be a temporary fake out, right? It could be you think it's going to happen, it doesn't happen, and then 2 hours later it happens. Yeah. They need to be able to sort of slip it past you. They need to surprise.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I still like that one GIF that somebody sent me. I can't remember who it was, but it was like it shows Aerith dying, and then it's like, would you like to purchase the Save Aerith DLC for $99.99? And then it just shows fucking Square Enix building. It's just fucking flooded with money. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. Actually, you
know what it's going to be? Here, I just figured out what they're doing. Okay? Aerith will not die there, like you think she will. But because of all the stuff where she can see the spirits and things, she knows something's wrong. And because she's not on the live stream, she can't save everyone. And she'll have to sacrifice herself willingly. She'll have to see it. And so there'll still be a very sad scene where she decides she has to die. There'll be...
I mean, she kind of decided that to begin with. Like, Aerith knew that she was going to die going there. Right. Yeah, she knew she was going to die going there. For sure. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm not going to judge the game. Sure. I don't want people thinking that I'm jumping on the Final Fantasy VII Remake hate train, because I'm not. I'm upset right now. I'm still excited to see what's going to happen, because it is my favorite game of all time, and I'm loving being able to see... Like I said, Yuffie's character model looked fucking amazing. I'm loving being able to see all my favorite characters of all time like this. They look fucking phenomenal. I can't wait to see Vincent. I'm going to hurt somebody if they don't bring Mog. I'm going to be so fucking mad if we don't get Cait Sith on Mog, dude. That's going to piss me off.
They put a team of people to put a lot of effort into modeling and animating and making a boss battle for Hell House.
That's true.
Like, they're not shying away from like the parts of Final Fantasy VII that are like silly. I guess. Right?
Mog
They
better
will
be
give.
there. I'm gonna be mad, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
He'll have Mog.
Because
no doubt.
I'm gonna be mad if they try to pull some Final Fantasy Advent Children shit where like Kate Sith is riding Red 13. I'm gonna be like, you motherfuckers, dude. Oh, that would make me so mad.
They will probably do a thing where that happens briefly in some side content, but he'll have Mog. I'm confident.
Oh man. I don't know, man. Like I said, I get what you're saying. Obviously, there's things that they want to do to be able to surprise the old players, but I think that at this point, the feedback has been very pronounced, and the fact that people would just like the nostalgia aspect of it versus anything new. Like I said, the expansion, I love. I love expanding on things, and I think I mean, honestly, as much as I just started talking shit about the fact that Yuffie's in Midgar, it does make sense that they give her some kind of story because she really didn't have her own story besides the small little part of Wutai that she was in. Like, Vincent had more story than she did. Vincent tied into the main story. She did not. Like, she was just there, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, they have room to make a good story for her. So, I'm not against that. And the fact that it happens while Cloud is gone makes sense because then it's like you don't meet Yuffie, da-da-da-da-da. But it does kind of take away that aspect of like when she does see the party later on, depending on how they choose to do that. Will she remember Tifa? Will she remember Barrett? Because a lot of people don't know that, but with Tifa, if you wait to get Yuffie whenever Tifa's leading the party and Cloud is somewhere lost in a live stream, she is actually the only person that actually comments on Tifa's boobs in the entire game. And no one else does. And when she sees her, she says, hey, boobs. So, only whenever you go to get her whenever Tifa's the party leader. So, other than that, she just calls Cloud spiky hair. And I don't remember what she says to Sid. I think she just calls him an asshole. And Sid is an asshole. I can't wait to see Sid, dude. I'm so excited for Sid.
Yeah.
Walk into that house and him be yelling at Shira, being like, where's my goddamn tea? Like, ugh. That's what I'm excited for. Sitting there with the cigarette in his mouth. Oh, man.
Yep. I like Sid. Absolutely. Please. I want Sid.
Yep. And they better not tone him down, dude. Barrett's been cussing. Fucking Cloud said some cuss words. They even had Aerith, Mrs. fucking Pure, say shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They better be saving all the fucking cuss words they can for Sid, dude, because he goes off. That dude's every other word was like a cuss word with him. Oh my gosh, I love Sid. He's so fucking funny. He cracks me up.
Yeah, for whatever they do that's weird with the plot, or I think they've done a good job with the characters themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure Sid will be.
Personality-wise, I can say, going from a game that had no actual vocal dialogue, the characters fit really well. Now, that being said, we did have a little bit of Crisis Core where Cloud and Sephiroth were in it, and Tifa, and we did have Advent Children where they really hit it hard with the vocals, so they had something to go off of. Because I'll never forget watching Advent Children for the first time and seeing Sephiroth, and I was just like, that was dead on. Like, the way he talked, everything. I was like, that is how I pictured Sephiroth. Like, everything about him. Which, while I was mad they changed the voice actors, I mean, I get it. You get a younger group. You're planning on this being a longer series. And some of the group is actually, like, kind of part of the community. Like, the chick that voices Aerith is a big-time streamer and shit like that. So she's, like, part of the gaming community. So it made sense. But I do miss, like I said, I miss Sephiroth's old voice actor. Cloud, I like both, honestly. But Zax, man. Zax is the worst. Like, if I could choose one person to replace back with their old one, it would be Zack, dude. Oh, my gosh. And I'm far from the only person on this. There's so many YouTube videos up of Zack from Crisis Core and Zack from the remake because they literally played out the exact same scene and made them say the exact same lines. And everybody's like, Crisis Core Zack sounds so much better. Like, remake Zack, he's just got like this like nasally voice, and it's just terrible. It just doesn't fit him, dude. It doesn't fit him. I miss my Zack from Crisis Core, dude. He was the best. He was the best.
Yeah, I don't know. I never played that, so I was like, oh, that's Zach talking. Okay.
Dude,
I guess I don't. Yeah, I didn't have a feeling.
Crisis
But
Core
Sephiroth,
was worth it.
I wasn't on board with, I guess.
Yeah.
Sephiroth's voice is the one that.
Yeah, if you could change it, you would.
For me necessarily.
That's fair. Like even Red 13, like I've got zero issue with Red 13 because I mean they really didn't have anywhere to not go with it. Like Red 13 had one fucking line in the entire movie, which was at the very end where he's just like, "There are still children with the stigma," and then that's it. That's all he says. That's literally all he fucking says. Doesn't say a single fucking line in the entire movie. He's fucking riding around with fucking Kate Sith on him, and Kate Sith is talking the entire fucking time. But Red 13 says one fucking line. I was like, okay, so. I didn't have an issue with Red, and like I said, I'd like that they did the Red and Barrett like bro ship that they had going on there, especially in the back of the truck. Whenever Barrett's like, "You should try to smile a little bit more; it'd be easier for you." And he just smiles, and it's like, maybe frowning actually does suit you.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that game's kind of funny sometimes. It's pretty good. Like really the writing is good. Yeah,
they did a good job of really bringing to life like how on edge both Cloud and Barrett were with each other at the very beginning of the game. Like just the level of I fucking do not trust you at all was so well done. And just for like Cloud to be that asshole that eggs Barrett onto was just fucking perfect. Like when he's like, "Don't you hear the planet crying out in pain?" Yeah. Just like, "You really hear all that stuff?" "Of course I do. Get help." I was just like, Jesus, dude. The look on Jesse's face is like, "Did you just say that?" Oh my gosh, man! Yeah, Cloud and Barrett's relationship is really good. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff to kind of take in. I mean, I only got one quick glance at it before we jumped on the podcast. I'm sure I'm gonna watch it a bunch of more times tomorrow. Might even have a different opinion by the time we go to do a review show for the State of Play. But at this point, like I said, I'm definitely still more excited for 16. Everything that I've watched about that story so far, reading the entire website, learning how everything... Like, dude, the biggest thing I want to learn about so bad right now is the one fucking house that doesn't believe in the I can't think of the name of the dominants, the people who actually turn into the Aeons in this game.
Oh.
Like, there's one fucking continent where it's like they're away from everybody else a little bit. And they believe that people who are born as dominants are abominations. So they kill them as children. They just straight up kill them as children. And that's my biggest theory. This is rumored. This is not even rumored. This is my theory. I came up with this theory on the fucking spot. Is that we all know that the big baddie is Ifrit. That much we know. We got that from the trailer. What we don't know is where he came from and what house he belongs to. And I think he's going to be a renegade from there. That he found out as a kid that, hey, if you let them know you have these powers, they're going to kill you. So he hid in fear that entire time, living with him until he could fucking leave on his own. And now he's just trying to fucking find a place where he can fucking feel like he's not constantly watching his back and just taking out all the other dominants in the way. So I think that's going to be the big baddie. We just don't know who the dominant is. So I don't know. And we're going to have Dragoons, dude. The Dragoons look so good in 16, in their fucking armor. And I just love that knight too. Like after they do the Dragoon battle, and it just shows the cutscene where he's like laying on the ground, the knight just kicks him over, and he's like, "Dragoons, Imperial Vipers." And I was just like, dude, I can't fucking wait, dude. Dragoons are so badass. Oh my god, the game's gonna be so good.
Do I get to be a Dragoon? Is it just dudes in cutscenes? Because
that's a good question.
I want to
be a Dragoon.
I want to jump.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. They always have their jumpers, man. Always have their jumpers. It's just going to be weird because it's like, I don't think there's another Final Fantasy that I can think of off the top of my head right now where you're just one person. Besides like Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core, but those aren't like actually considered main titles.
Right, not a main one for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to have a team. Like, I mean, because like the only team I could think of would be you, your brother, and the fucking chick from the other house, and I'm almost 100% positive is fucking Shiva. But your brother fucking dies. We saw that in the trailer. So it's like that's what sets you up on the whole fucking thing of becoming whatever, I can't remember what the name of the group is called, but the people who go and hunt down dominance. That's how you end up becoming that to begin with, because you want to fucking find whoever the fuck Ifrit was and kill him because he killed your brother. So,
yeah, I mean, they haven't shown much yet, so maybe that's something they're, the next trailer will be like, hey, look, it's all your friends. Like, who knows?
I'm okay with it just being one person, honestly. I have zero issues with that. Yeah. One thing that pissed me off of is like I went to like the Square Enix Reddit and people were talking and stuff like that. And they're all like, we really hope that we don't have to play like young Clive a lot, like that we get a lot more of adult Clive. Because we don't really get to play a lot of adult characters in Final Fantasy. I'm like, what Final Fantasies are you fucking playing? Like, everybody, like Cloud, Yuffie's the youngest and fucking 7, and she's like 16. Cloud is like the second youngest at like 21. I'm like, what fucking Final Fantasy are you playing? Like, 10, they're all adults. 11, they're all adults. Fucking, or not 11, 12. I don't know why I said 11. The 11's fucking MMO. 12, they're all adults.
I mean, 12, they're like teenagers too. Like, well, some of them. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like.
Well, let's say this. Who you thought was the main character might be a teenager. Right. The actual main character, his space pirate ass and Fran, they're definitely adults. I mean.
But I mean, I could see it. There's a tendency for the main characters to be youngish looking. Yeah, but
I feel like I really like the look of young Clive compared to adult Clive, 100%. I think he looks bad ass. And being such a Final Fantasy fan and having to deal with like the crystals and shit for so long, because that's what literally every Final Fantasy revolves around. The end of that trailer gets me so hype every time whenever he's just like the crystals, and then it does the whole music and shit and everything's going off, and you see 2 Aeons fighting, and all of a sudden he's like, have controlled our future for long enough. And I'm just like, oh shit, dude, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I mean, young Clive looks alright.
Dude, young Clive looks awesome, dude. I'm not saying old Clive doesn't look cool, but young Clive looks better in my opinion. I would much rather play as young Clive.
He looks like a Final Fantasy Tactics character. It's cool.
Right?
And then old Clive looks edgy. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you.
Shit.
I got no problem with young Clive.
Yeah. I like Clive, dude. He looks so badass. I'm super fucking pumped. Oh man, but yeah, so I'm excited to get a little bit more information, and like I said, I went and looked at the actual like website, and they kind of list out the houses and show all the banners and stuff, and they do a lot of redacted information, so you can't see like who the dominant is and shit like that. But it's like one of the flags literally is the fucking 6-legged horse. It's like, come on, like we know who the fuck that is. It's fucking Odin. Yeah, come on, let's be real. So
I know when I see it.
That's how it's like, come on, dude. Like we all know that's Odin. Let's be real. So, oh man, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Like I said, I know I started on a down note. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get behind the fucking battle royale. That I'm on the fence about. I think it would be a cool addition because it's different. And it gives a different fan base, the more of the shooter fans, a chance to play Final Fantasy. Them releasing it on the phone, I think, is a terrible idea. If they can make that its own standalone game and put it on computer, they'd have way better chance.
There's a market, a video game market that we are not part of that is very into mobile battle royale specifically. Like India is crazy about PUBG on phones. Like
that's because there's nothing but bots. It's because it's easy.
Right. So the reason, I mean, that this battle royale Final Fantasy thing, it's maybe just not for us.
Maybe.
Right. It's
because I'll agree with you. It looked cool. Like the fact that one dude was shooting that chick and then she just casted barrier in front of her. That shit was dope. But
if they put it somewhere other than a phone that I could play it, I would absolutely check it out.
Yeah, I'd absolutely 100% download it on my computer. I would definitely play that on my computer. I don't know.
And hey, maybe if it's successful in some way, they would port it at some point.
Maybe. I would totally abandon PUBG for that. 100% would totally abandon PUBG for that. I don't know. But just so this entire podcast isn't only about Final Fantasy, there's a new game that just came out. There's a new game that just came out that me and James are going to play. And JoJo, you need to look into it because I think that you would fucking dig this game. It came out 2 days ago. I sent the link to Kelsey. I'll actually go ahead while I'm looking at it and send the link to you in Slack as well so you have it. But man, dude.
Yeah, what's it called?
It is called Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos. And literally...
That sounds like a name of a video game. That's the title.
It is a rogue dungeon crawler. I kid you not, This thing is built just like the original Zeldas. The way you move the blocks, breaking pots, cutting down bushes, throwing rocks, it literally feels like an old school fucking Zelda game. You get to start out as a character. It's up to 4-player co-op. It is a dungeon crawler. The cool part is that everybody is a hero. Like, that's what your character is considered. That's your class, your stock class. All the other classes are clothes. So you can change class at any time. You're still just upgrading the hero. So, literally, it's like, oh, fuck, dude, we need, like, an archer. Someone could easily just fucking throw on archer clothes and then just fucking go. And then you have a fucking archer for your fucking one of your classes. It is so... it's got a free demo out. I highly recommend you download the demo and try it out. It is so fucking good, dude. And I played the demo for like an hour last night, and I still wasn't done with it. Like, the demo's fucking long. I'm not even sure if there really is an ending, because you can redo the first dungeon as much as you want to. Because, did you ever play Moonlighter?
Yeah, actually. I played a fair amount of that.
That entire aspect of building your town is also in this as well. Like, the only thing that's in the town is your house. And there's one guy who's like, hey, I'm a fucking carpenter. I like to build buildings. Maybe you should go get me some gems out of the fucking temple over there that I'm too weak to go into, and I'll build us some fucking buildings. And then that's how you start bringing all the stores in and shit like that, you know, to get your weapons and stuff. Another cool thing is like these dungeons are hard. There's fucking like I feel like this game did a perfect thing that I feel like dungeons have been missing for a long time, which is like in the newer age of dungeon games, dungeon crawlers, I don't feel there's enough booby traps. I really don't. I feel like the old school Zeldas, there was always the poison arrows and shit like that, the spike traps and everything else. This game brought that back in full force. Like, hard, like I fucking was barely surviving, and I think I got like 3 rooms into the first dungeon, if that, and I have no idea how many rooms there are. No idea. There's got to be a lot. There's got to be a lot, because there's this door at the beginning that you can pay gems to go down and skip, I think, like the first 10, and then pay double to skip the first 20 or something like that. So there's a lot of rooms per dungeon, and that's just one dungeon. I think there's like 4 major dungeons in this entire fucking open, expanded world. Yeah, dude, it's right up your alley, dude. I think you would fucking really enjoy this game. Yeah. It's got full controller support too, which is also fucking nice for these kind of games.
Oh yeah, we got. Yeah. Come on. Controller Zelda. Did you ever play Swords of Ditto? That was another one that was like a roguelike Zelda, very specifically. Yeah.
I'll all right.
Yeah.
One too.
Now it was like, I think it may only be single player, but it's very much like, oh, here's a Zelda overworld. You go into a bunch of individual dungeons. And get the thing you need to get all 8 to go into a fight the fake Ganon. You know.
Right. Exactly.
It's decent.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. But one of the things that I do like is that with how hard these dungeons are, they tend to kit you out with a shit ton of weapons, but all the weapons are made of glass, so you can't take them with you whenever you leave the dungeon. The way you get better weapons and upgrade your weapons is by getting the weaponsmiths and actually upgrading your actual weapons before you go into the fucking dungeon, and then you get to keep those. But like, I found like a glass boomerang, and I could throw it 12 times, but if I died, then I fucking lost it, or if I left, I lost it. And I found like a glass staff, and I could shoot fucking fireballs and shit. Yeah, like all kinds of stuff, dude. It was crazy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the older Zeldas have like a lantern where you could light stuff on fire in close range? Yeah, this has that too.
I think Link to the Past has that.
I was pretty sure it was the older ones. Yeah, this game does that too. Like, I'm telling you, dude,
first
this
item
is
you
just
Link to the Past.
Okay, yeah. This game is literally just Zelda, dude. It's so good, dude. I was so addicted to the fucking demo. I played it for a solid hour, and I was like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh.
There seems to be a thing. Like every person who develops video games seems to just love Zelda. Like it. You can see it. Dude. Like everyone just trying to recreate the feeling.
Tried and true. Did you know that there's actually a stab at Zelda in the original Final Fantasy? The first one?
I feel like I do know this.
Yeah, where you go to
we have talked the Elf Village.
Yeah, the Elf Village, and if you go read the tombstones, they all don't say anything, but there's one of them that does say, "Here lies Link." And that was Square Enix's jab at being like, all right, move over. We're going to be the new RPG for Nintendo. And then as soon as PlayStation's like, hey, we're going to do disc and Nintendo's going to stay on cartridges. Square Enix was like, we're out. Gone. And then born was my game, Final Fantasy VII.
And then, 20 years later, you can play Final Fantasy VII on your Switch.
Yep. You can play it on anything, dude. There's not a single system I do not own that game on and have beaten it on now, including my phone. I even own it from the iOS store and have played it in full on my phone. Dude, bro, before I had a Switch, whenever I was on planes and long car rides, Final Fantasy VII. Be like, give me a pair of headphones.
I have it. I had a PSP. I think I have Final Fantasy VII or something. Or Vita, one of the two. Both, I guess, just on my Sony account.
I didn't have my PSP long, but I'm glad that whenever I got it, Crisis Core had just came out, so I had enough time to beat Crisis Core before I lost my PSP. So I beat the fuck out of that game, dude. It would be like my mom and dad would be like, all right, we're going out to dinner, let's go. And we'd all get in the car. I'm playing it on the way to the restaurant. I'm playing it at the restaurant, take a bite, go back to playing it. Like I was just, until I was done with Crisis Core, dude, it was hard for me to put that PSP down. Yeah, my love for that game started early, very early. So, I showed Kelsey, because I don't think we talked to you about this yet, because we're doing the whole Zelda DFU, and I showed Kelsey the animated Majora's Mask video that the Ember Labs did. Did you ever see that? They did like the whole opening, or not the opening scene, but like the story about how Skull Kid got the mask, and they did it in like high definition animation to try to show Nintendo that if they did an animated movie, people would fucking watch it. It's like 5 minutes long. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And it is so good. All you gotta do is just type in Majora's Mask like HD trailer or some shit and you'll see it. But oh my god, dude. It was so fucking good. And like I'm glad that I had Kelsey watch it because it set her up perfect for getting ready for Majora's Mask, because like they do this whole like he puts it on like and he looks all scared and stuff getting to put the mask on, then he puts it on and he starts screaming and shit as the mask is just like taking over, and all of a sudden everything goes like he does the whole like closes his fist and like because he kept doing his laugh, because I love Majora's laugh, or Skull Kid's laugh I guess I should say, like it's just like a nice playful laugh, but the way it echoes, I love the way it echoes. And then, like, whenever he has the mask on, it's a lot more sinister, but it still has that echo with it. So he just, like, closes his fist, and the campfire goes out, and then that laughing echo comes out, and it all goes black, and then you hear the happy mask salesman.
I love the happy mask salesman.
He's in it, too, dude. He's in it, too, but you hear him talking, and he's just, like, he starts laughing, and he's just like, I should have heeded the ancient's warning. Nothing can withstand its power. And then it just shows Majora over the campfire just floating, and he's just kicked back like he always is, and then it just goes dark, and Kelsey was like, oh, tell me all about this game. I was like, hell yeah. I was like, Majora's probably up there in like my top 3 of villains. Like, he was easily one of my favorite villains of all time. I fucking love Majora, dude. So good. So good. Oh, good old Zelda. Yeah, we just got through going through the Goron temple. So she got to learn about how we got the Goron mask and Dormammu and all that. And then the little Goron baby and the frozen fucking elder and all that fun stuff. But we get to go to the Zora next. So I'm excited about that because I actually liked how we got that mask and everything too. I thought that was pretty fucking cool and interesting. That was one of my favorite games.
I just liked having boomerang arms.
Dude, yes, dude.
As the Zora. Great.
Swimming as the Zora was so much fucking fun, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually horrified Kelsey because, like, I'm telling her about how, like, Link is basically saving these spirits and putting them to rest, and they're turning into masks for him. She's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they give him the power to, like, change and stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And then you find out this game is kind of marketed to adults, but it's also really kid-friendly as well. But every time you put on a mask, Link is just in agonizing fucking pain as his body's being broken down and you're reformed into something else. She's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And so I showed her one of the mask intros where he just goes put on a mask. He's just screaming and she's like, oh my God. And I was just like, yeah, that is real sight.
Him turning into a Deku thing is real fucked up.
Yep.
Happening then.
Yeah. And that's something I told her too. Growing up, I literally always called it Deku. Like, that's just how I read it. That's how I pronounce it. So I would just call it Deku. And then as I got older and I started meeting friends and everybody was like, it's actually pronounced Deku, I was like, I'm not going to call it that. I've been calling it Deku. I refuse to call it that. And then fucking My Hero Academia comes out and the main character is my favorite and his fucking name is Deku. And it's spelled the exact same way. And I was like, touche, Japan. Touche. You fucking got me. Like, damn it. I had my fucking, like, my mind was made. I'm not changing that for nobody. Nope. Japan is all like, joke's on you, Chris. Cause my buddy Tony, he's an asshole and he fucking brings that shit up all the time where he's all like, hey, remember when you used to call it Deku all the fucking time? You know how stupid that sounded? Imagine calling Deku Deku, My Hero Academia. I was like, fuck you, dude. I love it.
I'm the third one. I say Deku.
Yeah.
Like I'm putting like a weird other emphasis on it, so I don't know.
Almost like throwing an A in there somewhere.
They never say it out loud in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Now.
That's what I got terrified about whenever I watched the Final Fantasy Advent Children movie for the first time, and I heard them say Mako. I was like, bro, oh my God, what else have I been saying wrong? And me too. I was saying Mako the entire time. And then it's like the remake started coming out, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, it's going to be stuff like Bahamut versus Bahamut and all the other shit in between. And then you've got fucking, Nibelheim and Gaganga and all this other shit. And I was just like, oh my God. Because I know I say Nanaki, and I know a lot of people say Nanaki. And I was just like, oh my God. I mean, that's pretty fucking similar, so it really doesn't fucking matter. It's basically the same thing. But still, it's just like, what have I been saying wrong? Because it's like, because I was talking to somebody, and they're all like, well, I understand that they said, or no. That was the argument I got into on Reddit. This one guy was like, well, just because the remake's out doesn't mean that her name is officially Aerith. I'm like, you don't have an option in this game to name the characters. They specifically put Aerith in there for a fucking reason, because that's her fucking name. Like, all these people are still like, it's Aerith. It's like, but it's fucking not. It's literally not. The shit drives me crazy, dude. It's not. That's one of the things that I told Kelsey that I wanted to do for like a shirt idea for the DFU would be, don't be an heiress, come to class. I was like, it's right, it's perfect. I was like, they would have to get it, obviously, but
right, for someone.
Shit. Yeah. There'd be a lot of Final Fantasy fans who'd be like, I see what he did there. Oh man, dude. That's funny shit. But yeah, dude, like I said, she's enjoying Zelda, but I just like, she's like, I have so many people that tell me to play Zelda, and she's like, what do you think? And I was like, I think if I was to tell you to go back and play the old ones, which really make the series as strong as it is now, I don't think you would last. I just don't. I think you would get bored because you're not used to that kind of game. I think Kelsey would really appreciate Breath of the Wild, and then maybe play Breath of the Wild 2, and then get like really into the series because of those two games, and then go back and play the older ones. But it's like, if I was like, you got to start with fucking Ocarina, because like apparently that's what she's being told. She's got to start with like Ocarina of Time, which I agree is fucking 10 out of 10, one of the best fucking games in the world. I don't think it's gonna fucking resonate with Kelsey the same way it resonates with the person who's telling her to go do that. It's just not. I mean, it's
right. Yeah, maybe
possibly if she was to play the fucking 3D remake version, but still, even then. And it's like, I mean,
that's still basically the same game.
It's still basically the same game, but at least the graphics are upgraded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like the biggest hurdle with her on fucking Final Fantasy VII was like she would just keep like, look at these polygon graphics. So, Kelsey is a little bit, dramatic about
all graphics are polygons, Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey.
Or all three-dimensional graphics, at least, I guess.
Oh man.
It's all triangles.
Yeah. Yes, they are. They're just lined up to look glorious these days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. But yeah, like I said, I would definitely download that demo of Rogue because that shit looks really good. And
right, yeah, sure.
I'm super gonna be playing the shit out of that this weekend, or not this weekend, but next weekend. So super fucking pumped. But yeah, I saw that and I was talking to Kelsey about it, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta send this shit to you, and I gotta send this shit to JoJo." I was like, "I think both of you guys would dig it." Kelsey, you a little bit more than Kelsey, but I know Kelsey likes the RPGs because we played. That's one that I would love to hear someone actually pronounce it the way it's supposed to be. But until I hear it from the actual game devs, I'm not gonna believe it. But we have this game that me and Kelsey finally just settled. I'm calling it Vagante because we don't know how it's actually pronounced. And it's like Vagant or something like, or TAE or some shit like that.
Vagante.
Yeah, we call it Vagante. That's we both are pretty sure we're saying it wrong. But that's what we called it. And that one is another one of those rogue ones that you would like, where it's like it's got that Dark Souls aspect to it because it's super fucking hard, and it is a traditional roguelike where you die, you start all the way back over again. But it does have that pixelated aspect, but enough of it is different, like between the characters and stuff, that you actually feel like you're a different character, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we played the fuck out of that for the channel, and then I ended up playing that on my own on stream, and then James got it and he played it with me. Dark Cantor, who's somebody who's part of the community, ended up playing it with us for a little while and shit too, and that one turned out to be a fun one. But I feel a lot more with like those older style ones. I think like if Kelsey has somebody to play with, she's a lot more likely to continue to play it and try to get through it versus playing a roguelike by herself. I don't know how much Kelsey would actually invest into that, if that makes sense.
Sure, right. I'm sure it helps to have someone else.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially roguelikes.
Yeah.
Because Kelsey to me is someone where like she's a completionist, you know what I mean? Like she likes the fact that she can put a lot of time into something and then and I'm just speaking from my own thought process. This is not, Kelsey obviously would be able to speak for Kelsey better herself. But in my opinion, with the kind of games that she plays, like with Outer Wilds and stuff, being able to like spend a lot of time and getting a lot of stuff completed versus like, I spent all this time to get all this completed, I died, and now I have to start all the way from square one again. You know? I could see Kelsey playing Skull for like maybe like 3 runs, and after that be like, okay, well that's about all I need to know this game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, a lot of most roguelikes really are pretty narrative light, and I think like Mass Effect so much, and it's got like
with all the story and shit,
and plots and stuff, you know. And like most roguelikes are like, there's a guy who's bad, you should go down and deal with that.
Yeah. And then you finally get that one lucky run where you deal with that, and it's all like, haha, joke's on you. That was just the first guy. Now there's like 5 more of the guys. Go get all of them.
Secret other guy.
And you don't get to save your progress. Jesus Christ, that game is so rough, dude.
It turns out there's 2 more secret other guys after that, and you can never truly. I beat Binding of Isaac so many times, but
Binding of Isaac is so good.
More and more fake boss.
Did we actually get a release date on that new one that's coming out, or did it come out already? They're releasing
it's still
a new one.
Still coming. I don't remember when, but it's happening.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time listening to the actual like opener of the Binding of Isaac for the first time. It was so fucking crazy. It's this fucking mom is just like, yes, God, I will kill my child, God. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening here? Oh my gosh,
it's real dark.
Just a little bit, yeah. I like the theories behind the game.
And they just
I'm not gonna go too far into them, but I like the theories behind the game of like what's actually happening and shit like that. So yeah, pretty interesting. But hey. Oh well, here's what it is. But we're gonna go ahead and end it here. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure you like and subscribe. Also turn on those notifications, that way you get notified next time we upload another video. Hit us in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and views on some of the stuff we talked about. especially if you differ from me in the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff that just came out. I'm more than happy to have open conversations about that. Like I said, definitely want to plan to do a review show on the rest of State of Play. I'm definitely going to watch it at some point. Probably try to get a review show recorded this weekend. So that way we can release some more thoughts and stuff on not just the Final Fantasy stuff, but go in more depth about, like I said, for sure, Five Nights at Freddy's, because I'm fucking pumped to see that is a open roam game. I'm going to play the fuck out of that game. So there's that. But make sure you hit us in the Twitter and the Twitch links below if you want a more direct form of communication or come hang out and watch us play some video games. But after all that, hope you guys have a great week. See you next time.